Yo, 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 what is up, y'all? My name is Rob Donaldson, and welcome back to another edition of Rob's Best Bets. And once again, baby, we are talking about college hoops. I would say that we've had 4 straight winning days, but right now we are 5-4, 5-3 against the spread, if you want to look at it that way. And we're only up 0.39 units. We also have Stanford laying 10.5 that right now, they're up 25-4 on Syracuse, but it's very early in the first quarter, or first half rather, and that could either flip our day further into the green or flip our day into the red. So we got to hold off on saying 4 profitable days in a row, but best believe that I'll update that on the edit if it ends up being, a 6-4, 2.21 unit profitable day. All that being said, though, I'm really excited to jump into these Thursday picks. It's definitely a slate that you gotta kind of dive a little bit deeper on, but as I've said in past videos, I love the mid-major leagues, and this is a slate that's chock full of them. But before we jump into the picks, we do have to shout out today's sponsor, ProphetX, and I can't reiterate it enough. If you haven't already used the link down below to get a deposit match bonus for this sportsbook or sports betting platform, I highly recommend you do so. And again, the biggest reason why I think this is a valuable tool, not only for right now and for your sake, but just kind of for the future of sports betting, is it does a really good job at eliminating the biggest scam in sports betting, which is VIG. Nobody likes betting on these minus 120 lines or minus 118 or minus 115 because it eats into your payouts over time. And over on ProphetX, it does a really great job of limiting that VIG. You might get a minus 105, minus 107, minus 102 for the same price that you can get, the same line at minus 118 on another book. So highly recommend you use that sign up link down below. But as always, I'm ready to hop into these picks. I'm chomping at the bit, and I say we go ahead and do it here. All right, first up, we are heading out to the Big Ten, where we have a matchup between Ohio State and Penn State. And when you're looking at Penn State, Mike Rhodes has really got these guys kind of bought in, playing good basketball, and unfortunately for their win-loss record and their prospects to make an NCAA tournament, they haven't been completing some of these ball games. They had Iowa on the ropes in Iowa City, they had Michigan on the ropes in Ann Arbor, and both of those games came down to a last-second missed shot that really could have, gone either way. And when you're looking at this matchup, Penn State is finally back at home, taking on Ohio State, and Ohio State is coming off the heels of a blowout, and I kind of like fading a team when they're coming off a massive win, especially to that degree, and again, I think Penn State's been playing good basketball as well, so let's go ahead and lay those 2.5 points here with the Nittany Lions for 3 units for our first bet here on Thursday. 4. Pick number 2, we're heading down to the Sun Belt where we have a game between Monroe and South Alabama. And if you're asking yourself, man, it kind of feels like these two teams have already played each other this season. Maybe that's just what the conference feels like in general. No, they actually just played each other on the 27th, which was 2 or 3 days ago, depending on when you're viewing this video. And yes, if you're wondering about the result of that game, Monroe was a double-digit dog. They won outright. It was kind of one of those spots where they needed to get up at home. They got it done at home, and they got it done by double digits as a 12-point dog. But now you're asking yourself, all right, well, what's the line for this game? Is it, maybe a little bit better, maybe like single digits, maybe 7.5, 5.5? No, it's actually gone up to minus 15. And I've seen this line in this type of scenario play out so many times over the years, more so in the Sun Belt, but it happens in a couple different of these mid-major leagues, and almost every single time, I like going where the line is sort of indicating I should go, and in this case, I do think South Alabama is a good team, and I say we lay it for 2 units for our second bet here on Thursday. 4. Pick number 3, we are heading back to the Big Ten, where we have one of my favorite games of the night between Illinois and Nebraska. And Fred Hoiberg's Nebraska team has kind of been all over the place. They've had some really good games where they played up to competition, really looked promising. Even in some losses, they've looked, inspiring to say the least. And when you are kind of looking at, their prospects for an NCAA tournament, those are probably out the window at this point, but they're still fighting. Hoiberg's a good coach. He's going to be able to acquire talent and get them to mesh and grow as the season goes on. And although Illinois is kind of one of those teams that we've really liked betting on because they put up points, they play good defense, they're really balanced, they're well coached, they have a lot of talent, I do think that this line is a pretty good indicator of this one being a tight game. So let's go ahead and take the Cornhuskers here for 2 units, getting the 4 points at home for our third bet here on Thursday. Pick number 4, we are heading out to the Big Sky, where we have Sacramento State taking on Montana State, and both of these teams have had not so great seasons in this conference and just overall in general. And when you're looking at Sacramento State, I do feel like their record is a clearer representation of actually who they are. I think they are one of the bottom teams in the Big Sky. But when you look at Montana State, I actually think this team has just kind of underachieved. And as of late, I do think they're playing better basketball. They've played some of the better teams in this league and have been kind of splitting these games. And against one of the bottom feeders, I do think this is their opportunity to kind of lay the wood here. So let's go ahead and lay the 10.5 points with the Bobcats for 3 units for our 4th bet here on Thursday. Pick number 5, we're heading out to the Horizon League, where we have one of my honestly favorite games of the entire slate, mid-major or not. And when you're looking at this matchup between Cleveland State and Purdue Fort Wayne, this is really truly one of the better battles that we're going to see in this conference all season long. And the Mastodons have been on top of this league and competing in that upper echelon for years now. And I believe in this style of ball, at least in regular season play. They're at home in this game, laying a pretty hefty number when you consider what these records actually are. And again, I feel like it's a good indicator here, and I think Purdue Fort Wayne actually wins this game by double digits. So let's go ahead and lay the 4.5 points here for 4 units for our 5th bet here on Thursday. All right, for our final play here on Thursday, we're heading out to Los Angeles, where we have a matchup between Oregon and UCLA. This might as well be a Pac-12 matchup. I mean, I guess now it's under the guise of the Big Ten, but let's get real. 2 prominent big Pac-12 teams starting at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This has all the makings of a Pac-12 classic. And when you're looking at this game between Oregon and UCLA, I do feel like Oregon in the early goings, and I guess we've kind of moved past the early goings in the college basketball season, but I feel like they've been one of the more overachieving type teams, and now they're starting to kind of regress back to the mean or regress back to the middle or just kind of that next tier in the Big Ten. And with UCLA, I feel like they've been the other side of the coin, where they've underachieved at the start of Big Ten play, but have really kind of emerged back up, and now they're kind of going on a little bit of a run. I think that run continues here, kind of like we saw Maryland beat Wisconsin with this same type of line. I think UCLA gets it done tomorrow as well. So let's go ahead and lay the 4.5 points here for 2 units for our final play here on Thursday. All that being said, I really want to thank you guys for checking out today's video, and if you do want to show some love, make sure you're dropping a like on the video, make sure you're subscribing to the channel, and make sure you're commenting down below. I love interacting with you guys down there. And if you do want to make sure that you're following every single one of our bets, whether we make a video or not, make sure you are following me over on Twitter/X at RobDFB. But with all that being said, y'all, I will see you in a future video. Take it easy.